What's up, guys? Welcome to... Oh my god, I sounded like Barry, didn't I? What's up, guys? Barry Gaming. I like Barry's intro. Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry that it's been really tough to upload content recently. Just for context, I have a full-time job and I'm just in a bit of a really sort of crunch period in the job right now. So it has been relatively tough to upload content. However, Primal Lord has now released on my server, and I wanted to do a little bit of a TLDR on the best kind of comps you can run for the Primal Lord and kind of what you need to look out for when actually trying to do this. It's a very tough Primal Lord to fight. I'm ranking way lower than I usually rank. I don't know why. What I will say is that the season is very punishing. If you miss a day, and to be completely transparent with you, I've missed a couple of days now, and I never usually miss days, but I missed yesterday completely, and I missed another couple of days as well. You can fall way behind in rankings because the most important thing to your power is season resonance level. So if you're falling behind on season resonance level, you can just feel your rankings tumble. Like, I am now struggling to break top 20 in Dream Realm, and I've only taken 2 days off. So it is it's quite brutal, the current season, in terms of how quickly you can fall behind. But hey, you'll always catch up eventually. That's kind of how the season's supposed to work. We've still got a few months of this season to go. Right, let's jump into this and let's have a look at some of the abilities first of our good old Crystal Beetle. So, no set bonus on the magic charms, although they apparently are there. The ultimate is the beetle flies into the air, becoming invincible, hurling a magic projectile at each enemy, dealing 80% magic damage to the target and adjacent allies. So you want to spread out as much as you can to kind of reduce the spread damage across the team. You can basically periodically grant a dodge chance throughout the battle. So a little bit like the Alpha Wolf, it will be able to dodge abilities. Summons a spike that extends forwards, dealing 60% damage to enemies hit. If enemies lose HP from this damage, they will also be knocked into the air and stunned for 2 seconds. So very important that we have shielders on this team, because if we have no shielders, especially if the people that are affected at the front, you are going to end up with some long-term stuns on the team, reducing your damage and tanking capabilities. So you're looking for people that can shield, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. And the final ability, which is probably the most impactful, spreads an enchanted mist across the battlefield, fueling the magic obsession with those within. Increases the haste of allies and enemies within the mist by 60, and increases their magic damage by 100%. Allies and enemies also recover 50 energy per second while in the mist. So very good for magic damage dealers. Now, interestingly enough, I have tried like full magic comps, and they are just not as good as true damage. So just worth noting that while Odie himself probably going to be excellent here, we are in a situation where true damage is still incredibly useful. So let's talk a little bit about comps that can work. I will be honest though, guys, I don't know how you guys feel, but I am getting a bit exhausted with AFK Journey now. It is an AFK game that requires a significant amount of your time, and that is hard for me. You know, that's quite hard for me to deal with. So I don't know how you guys are feeling. That is just sort of my honest opinion at the moment. It's a very, very tough game to continue to play regularly because it requires a good amount of your time. Okay, so interestingly enough, and this is just a very, very interesting thing that I've kind of noticed, that it's the original kind of strong damage dealers on this boss not so good, because they don't, even with like shielding, they don't get shielded enough. So Korin is actually the absolute best option for this fight. So Korin is kind of like your go-to best option for this fight, which is really interesting because he usually is kind of subpar to Marilee and Odie, but I will show you a damage screen of me attempting this with Korin, Marilee, and Odie, and you're going to see just how different. So Korin, actually, do you know what's really interesting here? Korin popped off, but Marilee and Odie did not. So that means there must be some other options to kind of really increase our power here, because this feels like relatively low damage, considering how much damage Korin did in this situation. That feels like some really low damage. Now, that's maybe why I'm not ranking as highly here. Let's what we're going to run this time round, right? This is probably one of the best in slot comps. If you have Freysto which, to be completely honest, I know most of you won't, but if you have Freysto, he is another really strong option. Basically, most of these comps are revolving around like Korin as a primary, so he's going to be your sort of first and foremost damage dealer. And the reason being is that if you don't have Korin, who's basically got 100% uptime on damage, your Marily and Odie just they get stunned too often to actually deal damage. So realistically, this is kind of like the go-to comp, and I'm going to show you how powerful it is compared to like a traditional Dream Realm boss. You have to kind of run Korin, and if you've invested in Korin for the Dream Realm, you're going to get a lot of benefit from this Primal Lord. So let's jump into it. So essentially, this is all around buffing Korin if we can. Shields going across the team wherever possible. And we obviously have Lucius, who provides a bit of a shield to the whole team too. And then we eventually get our Scarlita coming in. Now, if my Scarlita was higher, we'd probably get a lot more damage out. But unfortunately, my Scarlita's not particularly high rank. But you can already see lots of damage coming down. You'll notice at the end, like this entire comp is revolving around ensuring that Korin has as high uptime as possible on the boss. And it's very, very odd because you would expect, obviously, your Odies and your Marilies, who are just obviously like sort of go-to for single target, to be like the primary focuses here. But this right here, and I'm going to assume that most of you, I don't even have Freysto to test him yet. I'm assuming that most of you won't have Freysto at a super high level. But this right here is kind of like the best possible comp that you can run if you don't have Freysto. If you have like Scarlita and Rainier, which hopefully some of you will do, you can really, really get a super high amount of damage on this boss. And the reason people have been struggling so far is it's a very unique fight. Like it is a unique fight to have to tackle, and it requires slightly different tactics than normal. So there we go, 13.9 million damage, which puts me at rank 151, which is like relatively decent for the server. The rewards for this are absolutely abysmal, by the way. But you can see, yeah, I think like ultimately it's very much revolving around sort of Korin as a primary. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm also going to remove Scarlita, and I'm going to run a Koko version. So this Koko version is also very strong, and like it provides a lot of shield for the whole time. And we're going to run it slightly differently. We're going to run it with the evocation spell this time around, because my Scarlita is not particularly high level. So this is the version that I'm going to run now. And again, we're keeping the Rainier in just to kind of buff Korin up, and we'll give it a go. This is another comp that I think you can run. But realistically, like, and I can't run too many comps today because I've only got one more attempt. Your core really needs to be Korin and Thorin and maybe Rainier if you have him, but Korin and Thorin as an absolute. Lucius if you can slot him in at a high enough level, and then anybody else that's just essentially going to support and provide shields. Really, you want to clump everybody up in melee, which is why we're kind of running a very heavy melee comp here, because ultimately, otherwise the outside unit that's in the sort of the range is not going to get the shields and is going to get stunned way too often. So we're going to jump in again here. I'll show you how much damage Korin actually does after this one. I forgot to show you on the previous round, but hopefully it'll be relatively similar. And then you can compare it again to what you saw earlier, where like Marily and Odie kind of suck on this boss. It's all about your boy Korin, which means I should probably actually up his X weapon to about rank 8 or something, because right now his X weapon is like stuck at rank 5. I haven't invested that many resources into Korin. The other thing is the boss has very high dodge chance, so like people who are like very, very focused on basic attacks are not going to do super well here. That's another reason that the boss damage is low for people like Odie and Marily, because they are so focused on basic attacks. And Korin actually has quite a lot of ability damage. So lots of shields coming through here with the Koko. Got lots of increased damage buffs on the boss too. Trying this out with the evocation spell this time round, just to see how it performs versus Quickblade. Looks like we could actually outperform Quickblade with evocation, which looks to be the case. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to beat the evocation spell damage. Just about beating out Quickblade damage with evocation. 14.4 million there this time round. So this is the best attempt that I've had. Should we have a look? We're now ranked 138. And yeah, 9.291 million damage. Thorin did quite a lot of damage as well. So there's always scope to potentially add some more melee damage dealers in here. Ones that can benefit from the shielding. So definitely like play around with it, but this would be my go-to couple of comps, and it really just anything that has Thorin and Korin in it, and support them with as many shields as possible, either through Koko with Mythic Plus, Lucius, anybody else that you think can provide some shields that can really support. So this is how I would approach it. Scarlita, okay, but she's not great if you don't have her at a super high rank like me, and I managed to cap out my DPS with this comp here, with also using the evocation spell. So there we go. Hope you guys have found some help from this video. Let me know how you get on with this boss. It's quite difficult, but once you get the right kind of tactics, you'll start to deal way more damage and hopefully get some slightly better rewards. I'll see you soon.